girls and boys. Welcome to the Kids Club Christmas Stories video, where Dotty and her family and friends have 4 exciting Christmas adventures. Have you met Dotty before? She lives with her mummy, daddy, and baby brother, who's called Freckles. Baby Freckles is very naughty, and Lucky Mum tries to keep him out of mischief. Dotty's 2 best friends are called Splotch and Dimples. They all love playing together and have lots of fun. Dotty's favourite uncle is called Uncle Motley. He's an actor, and he likes to sing and play his guitar. Grandpa and Grandma Speckles live nearby, and they're always popping over to visit. Sometimes they bring Dotty and baby Freckles little presents, like sweeties. Now you've met them all, I'll start the first story. It's called Dotty's Christmas Dream. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. It was Christmas Eve, and Dotty was very excited. She was helping Lucky Mum and Lenny Dad to decorate the Christmas tree. At last it was nearly finished, and Lenny Dad climbed the steps very carefully to put the fairy right at the very top of the tree. "Now," said Lucky Mum, "there's just one last thing to do before we go to bed. Do you know what that is, Dotty?"
Hang up my stocking,"
said Dotty excitedly. "That's right," said Lucky Mum. "One for you and one for baby Freckles."
"And we must leave a mince pie for Father Christmas,"
said Dotty. "You are a thoughtful ladybird, Dotty," said Lucky Mum. "And now it's time for bed, or you'll be too tired to open your presents tomorrow." Dotty didn't feel at all tired, but she knew that Father Christmas wouldn't come until she was asleep, so she went upstairs, cleaned her teeth, and snuggled up underneath her blankets.
"I wonder if Father Christmas will bring me everything I've asked for,"
she thought as her eyes slowly closed and she went to sleep. Dotty woke up very early indeed on Christmas morning. She jumped out of bed and got dressed quickly. "Yippee-dotty-dee!" she shouted as she hurried downstairs. Dotty rushed to the Christmas tree and started looking at all the presents that had appeared there during the night. She found lots marked to baby Freckles and some marked for Lucky Mum and for Lenny Dad, and there were even presents for Grandma and Grandpa Speckles and Uncle Motley. But there wasn't one, not even a tiny one, marked to Dotty. Dotty was so disappointed and sad. Even her stocking was empty, whilst baby Freckles was full. She was so sad that she started crying. Lucky Mum heard Dotty crying and came to see what was wrong.
"I've tried to be a good ladybird, but Father Christmas hasn't left me any presents. None at all."
"Oh dear," said Lucky Mum. "I wonder why."
"What's the matter with young Dotty?"
said Lenny Dad.
"Father Christmas, he's forgotten me."
"Merry Christmas!" shouted Grandpa and Grandma Speckles. "Merry Christmas!" said Uncle Motley.
Then they saw that Dotty was crying.
"Oh dear, Dotty," said Grandma Speckles. "Why are you crying?" "This is meant to be a happy day, Dotty," said Grandpa Speckles.
"It's Father Christmas," said Dotty.
"Didn't he come last night?" asked Grandpa Speckles.
"Yes,"
sobbed Dotty.
"but he didn't leave me any presents."
"No presents?"
said Grandpa and Grandma Speckles together.
"No, not even a tiny one. And I'm so sad. Do you think I've been too naughty to get any presents?"
"Of course not, Dotty. You've been a very good little ladybird."
"Maybe he didn't know what you wanted," suggested Uncle Motley.
"But I wrote him a letter,"
said Dotty, and pulled an envelope out of her pocket.
"Look."
"Oh dear," said Lenny Dad and Uncle Motley, laughing. "You didn't post it, Dotty."
"It's not funny, Uncle Motley,"
said Dotty sadly.
"What am I going to do?" "I've got an idea, Dotty. Do you know where Father Christmas lives?" said Uncle Motley.
"The North Pole,"
said Dotty.
"That's right. Now, why don't we go and visit him and give him your letter, suggested Uncle Motley. Dotty started to smile again. You'd better wrap up warmly, warned Lenny Dad. It's very cold at the North Pole.
Soon Uncle Motley and Dotty were off on their great adventure. Hand in hand they flew over hills and valleys, rivers and lakes.
Happy Christmas, everybody!
Shouted Dotty.
We're off to see Father Christmas.
As they passed over the sea, Dotty waved at the dolphins playing in the sea.
Happy Christmas!
She shouted.
Happy Christmas, Dotty!
They shouted back. Suddenly, it became very cold as Dotty and Uncle Motley flew over the snow.
Brrr, nearly there, Dotty,
shivered Uncle Motley. Although she was very tired and cold, Dotty was very excited.
There it is, she cried. Look, Uncle Motley, there's Father Christmas's grotto. See it? Look!
The grotto was totally empty, except for a large red figure asleep in the corner. And there was a strange noise. What's that? Said Dotty.
Father Christmas is snoring, said Uncle Motley, and they both started to laugh. In fact, they laughed so loud that Father Christmas woke up. Oh, who's that disturbing my sleep? He asked.
It's only me,
said Dotty nervously.
And what's your name?
Boomed the voice of Father Christmas.
Dotty, I'm sorry to wake you, she said. I know you've been up all night delivering presents, but I forgot to post my letter to you and you didn't know what I wanted, and so I've come all this way to see you, and
she burst out all in one breath.
I'm so sorry, Dotty. My grotto is quite empty. I've no presents left,
said Father Christmas.
Oh dear,
cried Dotty.
But as you've been such a good little ladybird, if you give me your letter, I'll see what I can do.
Thank you, Father Christmas. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Dotty. Goodbye.
As Dotty and Uncle Motley flew off, Dotty yawned.
Oh, I'm so tired. It's such a long way to the North Pole,
she sighed. I'll carry you home, Dotty. And Dotty snuggled up in Uncle Motley's warm arms. Suddenly, Uncle Motley started to sneeze.
Achoo! Achoo! Oh dear, I think I've caught a cold. And as he let out a huge achoo, he dropped poor Dotty.
Down and down she fell. Down and down and down and bang! Dotty had fallen out of bed. Lucky Mum was there. Are you all right, Dotty?
Where am I?
Dotty asked. You've fallen out of bed, said Lucky Mum.
But the dolphins and Uncle Motley, Father Christmas, my letter, a tissue, and he dropped me and...
Dotty rushed out. You must have had a dream, Dotty. Suddenly, Dotty remembered something.
Has Father Christmas been? Has he left me some presents?
Asked Dotty. Yes, said Lucky Mum, and they're all waiting under the tree for you.
He said he'd come,
said Dotty. Who did? Asked Lucky Mum.
Father Christmas,
said Dotty. Dotty loves Christmas Day. She has a wonderful time. She gets very excited, and you'll see the fun time she has. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin.
Merry Christmas!
Everyone shouted as Dotty came into the room. Sitting around the brightly decorated Christmas tree were Lenny Dad, Lucky Mum, Grandpa and Grandma Speckles, and Uncle Motley. And Baby Freckles was making very loud, happy gurgling noises, as if to say, "Hurry up, Dotty, I want to open my presents."
It's time we opened our presents,
said Lenny Dad.
When I was young, said Grandpa Speckles, we used to try and guess what was inside the parcels before we opened them.
What a good idea, said Lucky Mum. Shall we do that, Dotty? But Dotty wasn't sure what Grandpa meant.
I'll show you, he said, and took a present from under the tree and said, What do you think this is, Dotty?
Is it a bicycle?
Guessed Dotty.
Yes, and it's for you.
Thank you, Grandpa Speckles,
Screamed Dotty with delight.
Can I ride it now?
Don't ride bicycles inside the house, Dotty, said Lucky Mum. I'm sure Grandpa will take you outside to teach you how to ride it soon.
Of course I will, but first...
And he took another present from under the tree.
Can you guess what this is?
It looks like a teddy bear,
Cried Dotty.
and it's for baby Freckles.
Well done, Dotty,
Said Lenny Dad. Baby Freckles gurgled. He's saying thank you, said Dotty, who was enjoying the guessing game.
Shall we see what other presents are under the Christmas tree? This looks like a hat.
for Lucky Mum. And this looks like...
A new pair of boots for Lenny Dad. What's this?
It's a book of poems for Grandma Speckles. And this is...
A new guitar for Uncle Motley. And this is for you, for being such a nice grandpa,
said Dotty, and she gave Grandpa Speckles a brand new gardening spade. And then she gave him a great big hug. Just then, the front door bell rang. It was Splotch and Dimples.
Happy Christmas, Splotch! Happy Christmas, Dimples!
Smiled Dotty as she opened the door. Splotch said,
Look, Dotty, I've got a new football. And I got a new bag,
said Dimples. Dotty told them all about her new presents and then said,
What shall we do now? Lucky Mum and Lenny Dad are cooking the Christmas meal.
Uncle Motley said,
We could play a game.
Oh, yes, said Dotty, Splotch and Dimples all together.
What shall we play?
How about hide and seek?
Suggested Uncle Motley.
Can baby Freckles play as well?
Asked Dotty.
Of course,
Said Uncle Motley. Now, I'll cover my eyes and count to 20 while everyone hides, and then I'll try and find you. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Here I come to find you, said Uncle Motley. Can you see where Splotch is hiding? There he is. Where's Dotty? There she is. Now can you see Dimples? There she is. Uncle Motley soon found everyone, except for baby Freckles.
Where can he be?
Cried Dotty. They all started looking for baby Freckles. Under the table, behind the sofa, beneath the carpet. They looked everywhere they could think. Are we all getting ready to eat our Christmas meal? Asked Lucky Mum.
We've lost baby Freckles,
Said Dotty.
We were playing hide and seek and we can't find him anywhere. I hope we haven't lost him.
Don't worry, Dotty, laughed Lucky Mum. I'll tell you how to find him. How? They all asked. Well, just think of what baby Freckles likes the most, said Lucky Mum. Sweeties, said Dotty. Right, said Lucky Mum. And where do we keep the sweets?
In the cupboard,
said Dotty. Now keep very quiet and listen very hard, said Lucky Mum.
What's that?
Said Dotty.
It sounds as if it's coming from the cupboard.
Lucky Mum opened the cupboard and there was baby Freckles.
Quicky, quicky,
He gurgled. I think you've had enough sweeties for one day, even if it is Christmas Day, said Lucky Mum. Come along, everyone. Our Christmas meal is ready. Soon everyone was sitting around the table. Doesn't the table look smart? Lucky Mum and Grandma Speckles brought out a huge turkey, roast potatoes and Brussels sprouts. Mmm. They ate their food, pulled Christmas crackers, put on funny paper hats, and told each other lots of jokes. And then Lucky Mum and Grandma Speckles brought in Christmas pudding and jelly and a Christmas cake. Let's give 3 cheers to Lucky Mum and Grandma Speckles for doing all the cooking, said Uncle Motley. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Merry Christmas, everyone! Do you enjoy playing in the snow? In our next story, Dotty has an adventure on Boxing Day. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Yip-Dotty-dee! Shouted Dotty as she jumped out of bed early on Boxing Day morning.
I hope it isn't raining,
She said.
I want to ride my new bike.
She ran to the window and looked out.
It isn't raining, but everywhere's covered in white. It's been snowing. Oh no, I can't ride my bike in the snow.
When she saw Dotty, Lucky Mum said, "Why are you looking so sad, Dotty? Whatever is the matter?"
I can't ride my bike,
said Dotty sadly.
because there's snow everywhere. What am I going to do?
Lenny Dad said, "If you put your scarf on, I'll take you outside for a big surprise. I was hoping it would snow this Christmas."
What is it?
said Dotty, getting quite excited. "You'll see," said Lenny Dad mysteriously as he winked at Lucky Mum. "But you must eat some breakfast first," said Lucky Mum. "It'll help you keep warm outside." It was very cold outside, even though the sun was shining brightly. Lenny Dad went to the shed and told Dotty to close her eyes. Dotty closed her eyes very tightly until Lenny Dad came back and said, "You can open your eyes now, Dotty." She opened her eyes and saw a bright red sledge.
What's that?
She asked. "It's a sledge," said Lenny Dad.
And what's it for?
said Dotty. "Look, I'll show you," said Lenny Dad. And he went to the small hill at the end of the garden. He sat on the sledge and slid down the hill to the bottom.
Me,
laughed Dotty.
I want to ride on the sledge.
So Lenny Dad took the sledge to the top of the hill and Dotty slid down it again and again and again.
This is fun,
said Dotty. "Baby Freckles wants to join in the fun too," said Lenny Dad.
If we had 2 sledges, we could have races,
said Dotty. Lenny Dad said, "I've got an idea," and he popped indoors. "Look what I've got," he said.
It's Lucky Mum's best tea tray,
said Dotty, looking rather puzzled.
Is it time for tea?
"No, of course not," laughed Lenny Dad. "It's Baby Freckles' sledge. Look." Lenny Dad placed Baby Freckles on the tray, and whoosh! The tray slid down the hill, just like the sledge. Dotty and Baby Freckles raced so many times they lost count. 1, 2,
3, 4, 5.
Yip-Dotty-dee! "Now we'd better put the tray back in the kitchen before Lucky Mum notices it's missing," said Lenny Dad. Lenny Dad, Dotty and Baby Freckles crept back and put the tray in the kitchen. They went back into the garden. Dotty asked,
"Can we build a snowman?"
Dotty helped Lenny Dad make a huge pile of snow. Then they made a big snowball for his head. "I found this old hat in the shed," said Lenny Dad, and he put it on top of the snowman's head.
"What shall we make his eyes out of?"
asked Dotty.
I know, said Lenny Dad. I'll get 2 pieces of coal. There. Now what do we need?
"His mouth," said Dotty.
Baby Freckles started making excited gurgling noises.
"He's found a bent twig on the lawn," said Dotty.
That will make a good mouth for the snowman,
said Lenny Dad, and he gave the snowman a mouth.
"There's another thing missing, isn't there?"
said Lucky Mum through the kitchen window.
"His nose!" cried Dotty. "He needs a nose!"
"That's right," said Lucky Mum.
"Come and see what we can use."
Lucky Mum came out with lots of things to use for the snowman's nose. There was a banana, a carrot, a pear and a tomato. Dotty tried each one in turn on the snowman's face. First, she tried the carrot.
"That's too pointed," she said.
Then she tried the tomato. That made her laugh.
"It makes him look like a clown," she said.
Then she tried the banana.
"No," she said seriously. "That doesn't look right at all."
Then she tried the pear.
"That's just right."
Lucky Mum opened the window and shouted,
"Dotty, it's time for tea." "Already?"
said Dotty.
"But I've only just started playing."
You've been playing all day, laughed Lenny Dad. And to think you were disappointed this morning that everything was covered in snow. All that sledging had made Dotty very hungry indeed.
Lucky Mum came in with the tray and said,
"Just look at my best tea tray. There's a puddle of water in it. Whatever could have happened to it?"
But no one said a thing until Dotty started to giggle, and then they all laughed and laughed. What a lovely Boxing Day it had been! New Year's Eve is party time. In this story, Dotty and her family and friends have a party with a difference. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. It was New Year's Eve. Lucky Mum and Grandma Speckles were very busy in the kitchen, preparing for the party they were having in the evening. Dotty was playing with Baby Freckles in the living room, but he kept crawling off to the kitchen.
"Come back, Baby Freckles,"
shouted Dotty, but he didn't. Baby Freckles was much more interested in the goodies that kept coming out of the oven than playing with Dotty. There were pizzas and cakes and biscuits and pies and sausage rolls and...
"I'm sorry,"
said Dotty.
"Baby Freckles is much too excited to play with me. He wants to join in with the cooking."
"That's all right, Dotty. We've nearly finished," said Lucky Mum. "We've just got to cook the potatoes." Lenny Dad arrived home laden down with shopping bags.
I've brought lots of lemonade and crisps and crackers. We're going to have a good party, he said.
"All our friends will be arriving soon," said Lucky Mum, who was getting quite excited herself. Just then, all the lights went out and the oven stopped working.
"Oh dear," said Lucky Mum. "It must be a power cut, or the electricity has stopped. How am I going to finish cooking the potatoes?" "And it will be dark soon," said Grandma Speckles. "How are we going to see?"
Everybody looked very sad. How could they have a party in the dark?
"Why don't we have the party in the garden?" said Dotty.
Because it's cold and it's dark, said Lenny Dad gloomily. It looks like we can't have a party at all.
Suddenly, Dotty had an idea.
Why don't we make a bonfire out of all the wrapping paper and cardboard boxes from Christmas, she said. The fire will give us light and keep us warm, and we can cook the potatoes as well.
What a good idea, Dotty, exclaimed Lucky Mum. Lenny Dad lit the fire, and Lucky Mum started to cook the potatoes. Grandma Speckles found some candles, and Uncle Motley arrived with some torches. Be careful, Dotty, don't get too near the fire, warned Lenny Dad. The fire is hot and it might burn you.
I'll be careful,
promised Dotty. Uncle Motley thought it would be fun to try and find a glowworm, so he set off around the garden with Dotty. Suddenly, Dotty saw a big shadow which frightened her. What's that? She said. It's only a cat, said Uncle Motley, and he shone his torch on it.
Meow,
said the cat. What's that? Said Dotty when she saw another shadow.
It looks like an animal.
It's Baby Freckles' boat, said Uncle Motley.
Look! A monster!
Screamed Dotty. Don't be frightened, said Uncle Motley as he shone his torch on a garden gnome. After another search, Dotty shouted, Here, Uncle Motley, here! Dotty had found a glowworm. Uncle Motley put it in a jar and Dotty took it to show Baby Freckles. Soon the party was in full swing. Uncle Motley was playing the drums and a trumpet, and Lenny Dad was playing the guitar and a flute, and Dotty was dancing with Baby Freckles. Splotch and Dimples were there too, singing and dancing. Lucky Mum and Grandma Speckles finished cooking the potatoes and put food on all the plates. Then Dotty asked,
Where's Grandpa Speckles?
Suddenly, all the lights in the house came on, and Grandpa Speckles appeared at the door. I'm sorry, he said. I accidentally switched all the lights off and then fell asleep. I hope I didn't spoil the party. Everyone laughed, and they told him that the party was even better because the lights had gone off. Quiet, everyone, said Lenny Dad. It's nearly midnight, and if we're very quiet, we'll hear the church clock chime. In the still of the night, the clock started to chime. But before anyone could shout Happy New Year, there was a very strange noise.
What's that?
Said Dotty.
I've never heard anything like it before.
Then Uncle Motley appeared in the door, dressed in his finest kilt, playing the bagpipes, followed by the glowworm, the cat, and even the garden gnome dancing behind. Hooray for Uncle Motley! Everyone shouted. Then Uncle Motley played Old Lang Syne, and everyone sang out loud and wished each other Happy New Year. Lucky Mum said, Haven't you forgotten something, Dotty? Dotty looked puzzled for a moment, and then she remembered.
Happy New Year to everyone in the Kids Club! Happy New Year! Everyone!
Well, girls and boys, that's all I have time to tell you. Dotty would love to meet you again soon. If you are already a member of the Kids Club at Woolworths, you will know all about the fun you can have with Dotty and her family. If you are not a member of the Kids Club and under 6 years of age, why don't you ask Mummy or Daddy if you can join us? Membership is free, and you will receive a comic full of stories about Dotty, her family and friends, fun competitions and puzzles. You will also receive a membership card with your own membership number, a Kids Club sticker, and a special birthday card on your birthday. Dotty would like to meet you again. She loves making new friends. Bye for now.
If you wish to join the Kids Club at Woolworths, you'll find an application form on the reverse of the video sleeve.